Welcome to the California Pools family. You're building a swimming pool. These are exciting times. Since the very first pool we built back in 1952 and the tens of thousands of pools we built since, we've learned a lot. We're here to share some of the things we've learned with you to make your experience that much better.
Some of the things we're going to talk about today to help make that experience better for you is how we communicate with each other, how to minimize delays, and some of the things that can happen during the construction process that you need to be prepared for.
One of the most important aspects of this entire process is communication. It is a two-way street, and we're here to keep those communication lines as open as possible.
Good communication helps the project flow. One of the things that we do ask is that you direct all of your communication directly through the team at your local office and not the subcontractors. Some of the best methods to contact our team are phone, email, and text. But we also have some meetings that you're going to be required to do along the way. That's going to help keep the process moving and keep the information flow back and forth. Some of the meetings you should expect to be involved in are the pre-construction and layout meeting, the material selections meeting, a pre-plaster meeting, and pool school. Some other ones that may happen along the way are masonry layout, deck layout, and a final walkthrough with your salesman or project manager. I would expect each of these meetings to take an hour to 2 hours.
We break down our overall construction process into three major phases: pre-construction, construction, and warranty. Pre-construction is anything that happens from the time we sign the contract with you up until the time we break ground. Construction is everything that happens from the time we break ground to the time we plaster your pool and it's paid in full. Once we've plastered your pool and you've made final payment, you'll now be in the warranty phase. Please refer back to your warranty certificate, as this phase can last several years.
Some of the things that are happening during the pre-construction phase are acquiring the proper permits, getting HOA approval, and having your underground utilities marked. That process can take from several weeks to several months. So during that time, we highly recommend getting your material selections done so that can minimize any delays during the construction process.
One of the most important meetings through this entire process, if not the most important meeting, is the pre-construction meeting. Your local office will reach out and set this meeting up directly with you.
This is a great time to go over all the details of your project, reviewing the agreement and the construction plans to make sure everything is in alignment. If you have any last minute changes, this is the time to discuss them, because it's a lot easier to make those changes before we begin than halfway through the project. Oftentimes the layout of the pool happens during the pre-construction meeting. This is the time when we'll actually spray the pool out on the ground so you can see how it's going to fit in your yard. Keep in mind that the pool often looks smaller than what the finished product will be.
Let's take a deeper look at the construction stage. The construction stage is broken into many smaller phases of construction. This will help keep the project organized as we move through it.
It's important to note that every project will vary in timeline based on scope of work, inspections, product back orders, weather, and even contract changes.
The excitement of the construction process will attract kids, pets, and you're going to be curious yourself. It's an active work site. Please understand that there are cautions and hazards back there. Please minimize the amount of time you do spend back there and be extra cautious with kids and pets.
Your local office may ask for a portable restroom to be placed on site. Please let them know if you have any concerns or a specific location where you'd like that placed.
While our crews will take every precaution necessary during the construction process, we ask that you put away garden hoses, tools, and yard decor to keep it safe.
One of the things our team uses to help keep your project moving forward is a web-based scheduling system. The system can send periodic notifications to you, which may include a request for payment or a reminder to water your gunite.
Timely progress payments are an important aspect to keep your project moving forward. Please refer back to your local office team and your contract to understand when these payments are due, how much are due, and the best way to make the payments. Please understand that a delay in a progress payment can ultimately delay your entire project.
Anytime we make a change to the project, whether there's a cost associated with it or not, we're going to require a contract change order be signed. This is an important part of making sure that everything that you've discussed is in writing and completed in your backyard. Although there are many phases during the construction process, we're just going to highlight a few today that you'll need to pay special attention to. The first phase is the excavation and demo phase. This is one of the most exciting times during the process, but can also be one of the most disruptive. The access is one of the first things to consider for the excavation. The tractor can make a few hundred passes during the excavation process, and it will impact the yard. Anything in that access area is subject to be damaged, including sprinklers, underground utilities, sidewalks, and driveways. Please note that California Pools is not responsible for those areas. If you have any concerns or want to make any special considerations, please contact the team at your local office.
There may be times during the process where a neighboring yard is required to access the project. It is vital that you obtain written permission from your neighbor in order for California Pools to use this yard for access.
Another consideration during this time is the type of soil that we're going to deal with. If we hit soft soil, hard pan, rock, or even a water table, it could change the scope of work for your project.
The steel phase makes up the structural reinforcement of the pool, and typically this phase happens on the heels of the excavation phase. During the plumbing phase, the crews will trench the yard and lay all the plumbing necessary for the recirculation of your pool. Please be sure to notify your designer of any special circumstances you may have, including room additions, large trees, or any other structures that may come into play with the routing of this plumbing. Also, it's very common that there's a city inspection held at this time for all the work leading up to this phase.
If you've contracted with California Pools to install a gas line for your swimming pool, please note you may need to contact the gas company to upgrade your meter.
Yeah, this is an important aspect, as adding a gas heater or other gas-fed appliances will put more demand on your fuel, which in turn requires this upgrade.
Another major phase of construction, and really one of the most exciting, is the application of your pool shell. This comes in the form of either shotcrete or gunite, and this is when the pool really starts to come to life.
And one of the most important details of this phase is how messy and noisy it can be. Please take extra precaution by moving cars out of the driveway, informing neighbors, and closing windows and doors to prevent dust from getting in your house.
Once that phase is complete, please know that you will be responsible for watering the pool shell down, but don't worry, the local team will send you instructions on when and how to do just that.
Watering the shell is vital because it helps strengthen the concrete during the curing process. The electrical phase consists of running conduits and wires from the main panel to the equipment and around to all the accessories in your yard.
We just ask that you don't try to test any of the equipment by turning anything on during this time. The tile, coping, and masonry phase of your project is really fun to watch because that's when you start to see the finished product come to life. This is a time where your patience will pay off. We ask that you allow our artisans a little extra time to make sure they get all the details just right.
One of the other important factors to consider during this phase is the fact that we use natural products. Natural products will vary in size, texture, color, and have natural imperfections that come with it. To properly prepare for your landscape phase, it's important that you review and discuss any landscape plans you have with your local team prior to decking. Some of these items to consider are sprinkler lines, gutter downspout tie-ins, outdoor speaker lines, low voltage lighting, and planter drains. Your contracted landscaper can generally run these items after the pool shell phase has been completed.
Because this is still an active construction site, we would recommend that you delay buying or planting any of those landscaping items until after the pool is plastered and completely started up. This will help avoid any potential damage to your new landscaping.
The decking phase typically includes the walkways and the flatwork that surround the pool. Because cracking and discoloration are inherent in concrete products, California Pools cannot warrant against these occurrences.
If you've contracted your own pool deck outside of our contract, there's a few items you need to pay special attention to prior to deck placement. The first thing you need to pay special attention to is the pressure on the plumbing system. This will ensure that there are no leaks prior to the deck being placed. Another item of importance is ensuring that there's proper expansion between the decking and any structures surrounding that decking. Another item of importance is making sure that there's proper isolation between the pool, any auxiliary structures, and the decking that you pour. Proper drainage, overflow hookup, and compaction are a few other very important items that the decking contractor must take into consideration before placement. It is very important that you understand the local, state, and national codes regarding pool enclosures for your property.
Once the pool is complete, it's vital that you maintain these codes on your pool enclosures from that point forward. Another very important meeting that we host through the process is the pre-plaster meeting. This meeting is typically held when we're about 90% of the way through your project. We strongly recommend that anybody listed on the contract attend this meeting. During this meeting, our team will walk the project site with you and look for any concerns or questions that you have pertaining to your project and make note of them.
It's kind of like doing a blue tape walkthrough when you finish building a home.
Once we've walked your project with you, and made our lists, we will address all of the items on this list in one of two ways. The first category is any item that needs to be addressed before we plaster the pool. Understanding that at the point of plaster is the point in which the final payments are due and the pool becomes officially in warranty. Sometimes there's items on this list that need to be done, but you may not want us to hold up the plaster of your pool. These items would be rolled over and covered under your warranty as soon as your pool is plastered and final payment is made.
With the pre-plaster meeting out of the way, it's time to start the interior finish of your pool. That can be called plaster, pebble, or a myriad of other available finishes in the market today. Because plaster is a natural product, surface cracking and discoloration are common characteristics. Please understand that choosing a darker finish can make these characteristics even more pronounced.
We've crossed the finish line, we've plastered your pool. Now it's time to start filling it up, but there's some important facts that you have to know. Please note, our plastering crew will put a hose down in the deep end of your pool to begin the filling process. It's really important that you do not shut off the water at any point during this filling process. And what I mean by that is allow the water to rise all the way up to the surface of the pool to where it stops about halfway on the waterline tile. At this point, if there's a secondary body of water, like a spa, we ask that you take the hose out of the pool, gingerly move it into the spa, and let the filling process begin in the spa until it's filled up completely and spilling over into your pool. Once the spa is completely filled up, you can shut off your water and notify your local California Pools office.
Now that your pool is full, the startup process can begin. We need you to hold off on that cannonball just a little bit longer and wait for instructions from your California Pools team.
Because of the varying finishes on different pools, the time in which a pool is started up does vary. Your California Pools team will manage the break-in period all the way through pool school.
Pool school is exactly what it sounds like. This is where the California Pools team teaches and trains you how to use all the aspects of your new pool. It can be a little bit intimidating, but don't worry, we're here for you the whole way.
Thank you again for taking the time and watching us. We are super excited to have you a part of the California Pools family, and we are confident you are going to make many memories in your new California pool.